And welcome to round 7 of the W Series Esports League, and I'm delighted to say we have another classic racetrack on the cards for you. It is Suzuka, Japan, one of the best racetracks anywhere in the world, as every racing driver will testify. It is absolutely my favourite, so I am in virtual heaven here. And I'm delighted to say joining me tonight is our esports commentator, Luke Crane, and Billy Munger, racing driver and Suzuka fan, Billy?
Oh, massive Suzuka fan. Never had the chance to drive there, but would love to.
And look, it is such a tricky circuit, isn't it? It's going to be, a real tricky one for our drivers to get their heads round tonight. But you've got that figure of 8, you've got the big notorious 130R. Are they going to tame it?
I don't know. It's one of the toughest. We say this every week. Every track that's been chosen is a test for sure. It's like 3 circuits in one. Each sector has its own characteristics. Sector 1 being quite slow, you just go left and right, which is going to be a challenge in itself. And then you've got Sector 2, which is kind of fast-flowing corners. And then you've got Sector 3, which is just absolute pace with that chicane at the end of the circuit. So, yeah, are they going to tame it? I hope so. But it's, again, a very tough challenge for these drivers.
And Billy, from your point of view as a racing driver, is this one of these tracks that, although you've not been there to drive round it, is it one that you look in upon and think, goodness, I'd love to drive that circuit?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Suzuka, like Luke said, I think it's got a sort of challenge in every area that a driver needs to sort of master. The low speed of the last chicane, the sort of the G-forces that would be like put on the driver through the left-right bit of the circuit at the start of the lap. So you've got so much going on. You don't really get much rest at a circuit like Suzuka, which I think as a driver, it's probably one of the toughest challenges, especially physically. Obviously, in the simulator and in this sim series, they'll have obviously a bit of advantage on that front, but still, it's a challenge.
Absolutely. Plenty to whet the appetite for the drivers tonight. But let's just remind ourselves of the championship standings so far. The top 3 drivers that we can see there all won at Watkins Glen last week. Bites Gavisser still very much leads the way. She got extra points for fastest lap in all 3 races last week. 51 points behind. In second is Irina Sidorkova, but top point scorer for the last 2 weeks has been Marta Garcia, which means she is in third and closing in on the Russian. Caitlin Wood is really starting to convert that qualifying speed and performance into the race, which puts her now in fourth. Tasman Pepper rounds out the top 5, and the rest of the top 10 are all on or over the 100 points mark. The other 11 drivers that we have had competing in the last 6 weeks, range from 97 to 15 points. But I do need to tell you all that tonight we have 2 new guest drivers. We have Hannah Grisham and Gabriela Jilkova. It's interesting because they got very close to qualifying last year and this year for W Series when it was going to be on the track, Luke. So what can we expect from these drivers tonight?
Well, it's an opportunity. I think that's the key word here, to showcase their skills, to drive amongst drivers that they would have been looking to drive in the real world. We've got Jilkova, who is one of the most, I would say, famous sim racers in the world right now on iRacing. She's an amazing driver. And then we've, of course, got Grisham. So she nearly qualified for what would have been this year's W Series, and last year would have been Jilkova, who nearly qualified again. But it's kind of like an opportunity for them to go, you were wrong. You should have chosen me. Whether it be sim racing or real world racing, you're always under the spotlight. And you've always got an opportunity to showcase your skills.
Absolutely. Billy, 2 drivers therefore with points to prove. But I also think when we look at those standings, the drivers standing there, there's actually quite a few drivers with points to prove who maybe haven't performed as they would have hoped in the last 6 weeks. We do have several opportunities tonight to try and get things right, and these need to start doing that if they're going to close in.
Yeah, they really do. I mean, we're at the sort of stage in the league so far with the amount of races that have already been held that I think a lot of the drivers that were struggling at the start and that have committed their time to it and have really developed, we've seen that in the last few weeks, like the likes of Marta Garcia now getting lots of points and on a more consistent and regular basis. I mean, there's still a couple of the drivers out there that I think can put a bit more hard work into the sim racing and have got points to prove. And I'm sure, I don't need to say it, that they've got the fire in their bellies to go out there and really show what they can do, especially with the new threat of 2 young drivers coming in to sort of challenge their position in the W Series. I know it's not running on track this year, but it's all about just the experience and showcasing what they can do. And there's a lot to play for tonight.
Yeah, and it is worth pointing out as well, Billy, that this isn't just W Series Esports League. So often in motorsport, you get like a top three and then a midfield pack, which is competitive, but you just need to try and break out that and get into fourth like Caitlin Wood has done.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like you say, there's always in motorsport, no matter what championship, you normally find the sort of the cream rises to the top, and the top three drivers that we sort of seen establish themselves over the last few weeks of Marta Garcia, Sidorkova, and Visser, who's been at the front sort of the whole way through the league so far. I mean, they are in a league of their own, but that's not to say that with a bit of hard work that the others can't just tidy up those little areas and make this a sort of 6-7 car pack at the front. And I think the girls at the back of the grid as well, eventually they'll start to progress as well. So there's a lot to play for. And I think you, as a racing driver, you're never the finished article. So there's always work to be done. And it's just about doing that work in the most effective way and making sure you progress.
Yeah, and 3 races each night certainly helps. And of course, that's what we have tonight. That's what we've had every week. Race 1, 2 and 3, we have full points for all of those. Race 2 is, of course, the reverse grid from how race 1 finishes up. There are points from 1st to 15th, but it's worth pointing out as well that this week's 2 guest drivers, they are not eligible to score points. But one driver who will be looking to maximise her points haul is Sarah Moore.
Are you taking the dog out or me? Oh. I think you should do it.
We're going for a walk. We're going for a walk. He's got his ball, he's happy. He want to go for a walk.
He's like a baby, he gets treated better than me.
Carla, she's funny, doesn't support the best football team in the world, but can't have everything, can we? I absolutely love her and she supports everything that I do. I'm not at home as much as I'd like to be, but yeah, she puts up with it, deals with it, looks after my pets for me. Where's your ball?
Go sing Granny Carol.
Coming out to my parents was probably one of the hardest things in my life. I had a difficult 6 months or so after that, but my parents have kind of warmed to it now, and I'd probably say they're very supportive. They absolutely love my relationship with Carla now, only because she's funnier than I am, I think.
Morning.
Morning.
Morning. Bacon butty. Bacon butty.
Bacon butty?
I got the tea.
The airfield used to belong to my granddad, and my dad inherited it. So I was pretty much born into cars.
You'll have to help me fix this as well. I don't even know what goes on.
So whilst we've got a bit of spare time, I'm going to go and have a bit of a play on the kart track with the family. Don't think any of them are going to beat me, but we'll see. A lot of people kind of think that I've had it all, really. I've literally grown up in the motorsport world, so yeah, I'm very lucky, but I also understand that, you know, there's a lot of people out there that have never had this opportunity, that dream of these kind of things, and they're the kind of people that I love to support, because as many people as I can give the opportunity to get out in a car or go out in a race car, then it puts a smile on my face.
Sarah, great to see you. I imagine that this is a racetrack, Suzuka, where you just want to feel comfortable on, because it's quite a complicated one.
Exactly that, yeah. I think there's not been many laps during testing that I've actually completed a lap. So, yeah, I think the aim for this one is definitely just to keep it on the track and aim for a finish for me.
The thing is, though, when you've got 3 races on each night, if you do find a track that you're comfortable on, it's quite easy to move up and down that part of the standings, that midfield of the standings that you're in. We've seen what's happened with, for example, Marta Garcia.
Exactly that. I think that the midfield pack is kind of sometimes the worst or the best place to be. You know, you can get caught out at the first corner quite easily, and you can end up going all the way back to, you know, to last. And on the other hand, you know, if you manage to avoid the incidents or whatever that happens at, you know, on the first lap, then you could be, you know, within the top 5. So it's a big mix match in the middle of the pack, really.
Yeah, and it really could see you jumping up in the championship if things go well for you tonight. I hope they do, Sarah. Great to talk to you.
Thank you.
Now let's hand over to our commentators, Luke and Billy.
Thank you, Lee. Well, round 7 brings us to Japan in Suzuka, one of the toughest circuits. We keep saying this every single week, one of the toughest circuits on the calendar, I would say. It's got, as Billy said earlier in the broadcast, there's a challenge in every single section of this circuit. And of course, as I've mentioned him, I am joined by Billy Munger. How you doing, mate?
All good, yeah, looking forward to this one. It should be, like I say, a bit of a challenge. hopefully we'll see some good racing like we saw the last few weeks.
Yeah, hopefully. We'll find out very, very shortly. We've got 3 races for you this evening. First race, indeed, is 10 minutes of qualification. And then we've got race number 2, which is Carnage Race. We love race number 2, where it is indeed a reverse grid of the results of race number 1. And then we've got a feature race, the final race, which is 20 minutes, an extra 5 minutes longer. But it does indeed have the 10 minutes of qualification. I just realised I didn't introduce myself. My name is Luke Crane. I will be your commentator here today with Billy. And, well, hopefully, like Billy said, we have some good racing for you. But Marta Garcia, who has been the biggest improver over the last few weeks and actually gaining the most points over the last few weeks, currently is provisionally on pole position, Billy.
Yeah, she's done a great job in the last few weeks, really improved, really taken it to the likes of Visser and Sidorkova, closing the gap. And yeah, I've been really interested to see how she gets on this this week. Like I said, this circuit, it throws a bit of everything at you. You've got fast corners, slow, tight chicanes. I think it's a circuit that requires a lot of commitment and a real good sort of feel for the setup and the car. Obviously, it's a lot of fast flowing corners that lead into each other, so it's not a simple track to master. So I feel like confidence is key, and she's definitely gonna have that after the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, for sure. She's been so good. As we've got Sarah Moore there making a little error, unfortunately. But that's one way of going through the Degners, that's for sure. And, well, the landing, we're going to give her a 7.5 there for the landing. Facing the right way, we love to see it. On board then with Caitlin Wood. Currently, only 0.06 of a second off of pole position. As I say that, Biska Visser makes it 0.3. Visser then does go onto pole position. But will Caitlin Wood improve on her time? Across the line, she will indeed go, and it doesn't look like she has improved. But new driver, 2 new drivers here today, Billy, which is going to be very, very interesting. We have got Grisham and we've got Jilkova. Both of those drivers narrowly have missed out on an opportunity to drive in the W Series. Again, we mentioned at the start of the program that it's opportunity day today. That's going to be the key word. And, well, will they be able to throw the cat amongst the pigeons today and potentially get themselves in that top end fight?
Well, this will really sort of put down a benchmark for the other girls, because the other girls have been now competing for, this will be their 7th round of the season. They've had a lot of practice, a lot of time under their belts of competing, racing, getting used to these cars, the sort of sim world in general. So if these 2 girls can come in now, these young drivers, and deliver some top performances, I wouldn't expect them to be winning, just because, like I say, it's the amount of time that these other girls have had in the seat now. Is quite substantial. But if they can at least put in a good showing, like sort of keep it clean, get some consistent sort of finishes and points over the 3 races, and all for them they're going to be trying to do is just sort of open the eyes of the W Series staff and maybe say, look, this is what you missed out on.
Yeah, it is an opportunity. As we keep saying, we're on board then with Wood, who's currently in P4. Sidorkova's just chucked herself into the 2nd row of the grid there in 3rd position, 0.2 off of the pace. Come through Spoon Curve here then. And, well, as we come along the old start-finish line, you'll see on your left-hand side there's a pit entrance. And a lot of sim racers like to try and get through there as fast as they can during races. I don't think we're going to see that today, but it is fully open. It's a very small, very short pit lane, but it is definitely accessible. As we come then towards that final chicane here, on board then with Caitlin Wood, as I've just stated. And, well, can she improve on her time here? Currently with a 1:59.6. Wow, 3.5 of a second. I think this might be the final attempt here. And actually, Biska Visser has just gone faster at 59.1. And now it's half a second that Caitlin Wood will need to find. And does Wood improve on the time? No, unfortunately not. So Visser looking pretty good here. Although Tasmin Pepper is on a pretty good lap time. I think we just saw Naomi Schiff there put it up into P11. So are we going to see Tasmin Pepper, who's been very, very quick over the last few weeks, currently in P8. Again, a little bit out of where she's been performing week in, week out. And again, she's kind of established herself as one of the top 5 drivers through that final chicane here then. And again, not much curb usage here, which is going to be, I think, what everyone's going to be doing here. Use too much curb here, you're unsettled the car, and you're going to be in some serious trouble. So then we've come across the line here, and Tasmin Pepper does not improve, I believe, across the line. Oh, 7th position. So she does just find a little bit of time there, but again, not enough. And actually, the big story here is that Jilkova is right up there, P7 or P6 as it stands. But it is the usual names then at the front end, Billy. It is Visser, Marta Garcia, Sidorkova, and Wood in qualifying. Those 4 have been the quickest over week in, week out.
Yeah, they really are sort of coming into a league of their own. Jilkova as well, doing a great job considering she's just come into the series for this weekend as a guest driver. So there's lots of names and faces that are putting in decent performances here. So let's see how the race unfolds.
Yeah, so it is the usual drivers at the front end of the grid, which has become to expected, and it probably goes to show how much preparation those individual drivers have been putting in. It's one of the toughest circuits, as Billy has pointed out today. So again, preparation is key for this. It's going to be a really good race. I think it's a lot closer than I anticipated, considering the nature of the circuit. Are you expecting to see anything out of the ordinary here, Billy? Of course, a mistake here is magnified, surely.
Well, I think, to be honest, like I said, we've mentioned Marta Garcia already with the confidence she's brought in, especially with the qualifying performance she just did there. It was a good job. Overtake around this circuit, I think, is going to be fairly tricky once the girls sort of and the young drivers get settled into their sort of rhythm. Because, like I say, it's a lot of fast corners, so the braking zones are normally quite short and don't really slow the car down too much. So I think that's just going to make any moves that we see even more spectacular, because it's just going to show the level of skill and sort of development that these drivers have seen over the series so far.
Here we are then, race 1, round number 7, here at Suzuka circuit in Japan. Again, a big test for these drivers. We're about to see those red lights come on. Well, I tell you what, we're not going to see the red lights. We are indeed off and away here then at Suzuka. And well, it looks like Marta Garcia has got an absolute lightning bolt of a start. It is almost three wide then between the top 3 in our Esports League series. And well, Bicycle Vista runs a little bit wide out into turn number 1. Opens the door then for Marta Garcia. She does not need 2 invitations as they come up through the S's for the first time. And well, it is Marta Garcia then off of a flyer into P1. Vista in P2 and Sidokova in P3. Wood is in P4 and Marty is in P5. So it is the front 5 as they qualify. Looks like the whole field have got off in one go here, and there's not been any big issues. And as I say, that Kimmerleinen drops down, so there may have been some contact in the background. But as it stands then, it is as they qualify. Sidokova, though, trying to find a little opportunity up towards the Degnas here. A bit of contact between her and Vista, and Sidokova was not on the brakes early enough there. She's not going to be in the fight for the win here in the early stages of the race. This is now going to be a big recovery drive, and we've seen this far too often, Billy, from Sidokova.
Yeah, that was just a bit of a mistake there. She looked at the inside. Vista sort of defended it off fairly early. Oh wow, we've got some real carnage going on in the background there. I don't know who that was involving. I think it looks like Tasman Pepper was involved, and that's not good for her. Lots of incidents and mistakes in this first lap. We saw Vista get her we've sort of become known to us that her only weakness seems to be her starts, and she got a bit of wheel spin, so things are not going quite as smoothly as she would have hoped.
No, it's not the ideal start here. Vasilkova, P8 because of that carnage there. Actually now P7, so she is making her way back through the pack as it stands. Looks like we've got Belen Garcia, who may have made an issue as well, as you see her name tumble down the time tower to the left-hand side then. But it is the lead for Marta Garcia. Again, didn't quite qualify quickest in qualification. She was very quick in practice, and actually Bicycle Vista was the only one ahead of her. So Marta Garcia has shown some serious pace, and she's actually been able to drive away due to the Sidokova and Bicycle Vista battle. Emma Kimmerleinen, though, in P10, trying to make a move here on Hawkins up towards that final chicane. Wow, look at that, straight through there, no questions asked, and actually able to just drive away here. And all of a sudden, you can see that Eaton now is right up in behind Hawkins as well. But at the end of lap number 1, then it's Marta Garcia leading by 1 full second, so out of that slipstream range just about. Although Vista may be able to just get a slight toe, but it's the battle in behind here for P3. Look at this, it is Wood, then Agron and Marty. These 3 drivers battling for that podium position as they come around the double apex turn number 1. A very tough corner indeed. Wood actually makes a bit of a mistake there, which means they can close up. But Billy, they're coming through the S's here. It's just about being ahead of a group of cars through the S's, because it's very difficult to make a move through here.
Yeah, that's the problem with following through such a high-speed section like this, is you just lose front downforce, and what you end up doing is just sort of kidding your tyres, especially in real life. Obviously, in the sort of the sim world as well, you still have degradation that you've got to take into play. And I mean, these girls and the young drivers that we see on the grid here now, they've really got to be learning and sort of adapting to different lines they need to do when they're following someone, and also getting prepared for the feature race, because that's even longer, 20 minutes. Managing degradation and stuff like that is even more important.
I think managing any contact with anybody is the biggest factor here. Any sort of front wing damage around a circuit like this, you are in serious trouble. So you need to just, for the first couple of laps, it doesn't, obviously, if you're Marta Garcia and you get a flyer and you go out into the lead, that's perfect. But ultimately, if you are in the battle of the mid-pack, where we see all these incidents indeed happen, and that's just in any form of motorsport. That's not just this championship, that is everywhere. If you're in a mid-pack, that's where stuff goes down. You've got to make sure you don't get any damage to your front wing, because it's so downforce dependent around here. And like Billy was saying, of course, if you're following another car, that's a whole different story. If you've got properly working front wing, you're still going to have a lack of downforce there because of the jet wash. If you've got any damage to the front wing, you've kind of made your job twice as difficult. But at the end of lap number 2, as we near the end of lap number 2, Marta Garcia has been caught by about 2.5 tenths of a second here. So Visser has settled into a nice little rhythm here. She's going to be a bit closer, and of course she had a little bit of a toe on the previous lap, and now she's going to have a lot more. But look at this little battle here then for, looks like we're on board with Jessica Hawkins. Oh, big tank slapper, and oh dear, collection there, front wing gone, the whole stem of the front wing's gone. And Jessica Hawkins, the worst thing about this is she's just gone past the pit entrance, so she's not able to get that fast repair. So she's going to have to go either toe and lose a lap, or she's going to have to just go around the circuit, and that is very unfortunate indeed. We're on board now with Neria Marti. Neria Marti, then currently in P5, is battling with Agron. This is a nice little battle here. And Wood, by the way. So Wood's been able to drive away from this because of these two battling side by side against one of those circuits that you have to take the optimum line to get the maximum lap time. That is a fact for any circuit, but especially around a circuit such as Suzuka. And, well, there's a Ferris wheel in the background there. Love to be here at night time. How cool would that be? It illuminates. It looks great. I don't know why. I just like lights, apparently. But it is Marta Garcia and Visser that leading. But this battle here for P4, well, they've let Wood drive away here. And you were saying earlier, Billy, that Wood is someone to watch out for. And, well, she's in a very good spot now as we actually watch a move here. Neria Marti up the inside of Kobayashi corner. Kobayashi actually made 5 overtakes in one race round here back in the day. So that's why it's called Kobayashi. And as you can see then, Neria Marti does indeed make that P4. But I tell you what, Agron is looking to bite back up here towards Spoon.
Yeah, I mean, it looks quite obvious to me that Marti had a serious pace advantage over Agron there. The fact that she was able to follow so closely through that first sector, which is such, like I said, high speed, and it's sort of the part of the track where following you are at a massive disadvantage. The fact that she was able to hang in there, it then provides you opportunities, like you say, into the hairpin and up this long straight. Now you can see the advantage of being in the slipstream as Agron's now coming back towards Marti. And I think into this last chicane, we're going to see sort of some potential overtakes into the last chicane, but also if they get a clean exit on the main straight as well. This seems to be, I think, in real life and in general, sort of the overtaking opportunity. Obviously, the guys in F1 are sort of helped by the DRS. They don't have this, but they have the slipstream, and you can see Agron. For me, I think you should be following and being tucked right up behind in that situation, but maybe she's just happy to follow at this point in the race and try and catch up towards the podium positions. Yeah,
maybe she's being pretty clever here. Maybe sort of already throwing away a potential P2 and thinking, do you know what, P6 is not that close behind, although Sidokova's the P6, so that gap could come down very, very quickly indeed. But yeah, I think Agron might be playing it a little bit safer here, maybe looking to get P4 later in the race, and just wants to do it nice and cleanly here. I'll tell you what, I was a bit, I don't know, pessimistic about Suzuka. Didn't think we were going to see some incredible racing. Well, we've seen some carnage, but we have seen some great racing here. And I tell you what, Pepper was involved earlier on in a big old accident here, but she's right up in behind Eaton. Eaton's moved up from P11 from the last time we saw her. And, well, they're having a nice little battle here as well. So, again, Billy, we're starting to see every single week there's battles all along the grid.
Yeah, we're seeing it, like I say, throughout the grid. Pepper again in that sort of same boat, just trying to hang on for that first sector. And here we've got Visser now, only about 4 attempts behind, and she's put herself in a good position. If she can nail the Spoon corner here and just sort of keep tucked right up behind Marta Garcia, you see a little bit difference in the line there. Marta Garcia was going a little bit wider to get the straighter exit, which she got. She got a clean exit off the corner. Visser, normally when you have someone in front of you, you normally try to just stay a little bit tighter through the corner to avoid that air wash that comes off the back of the car in front, and she did that fairly well. I don't think she's going to be close enough to make a move into the last chicane, but we have seen her make some late braking manoeuvres.
Yeah, Bicycle Visser, she kind of has a range of either 1 car length to about 40 from what we saw at Spa. So there's a big range for her to make overtakes and lunges up the inside. There's nothing that Bicycle Visser can't do, actually, from what we've seen over the last few weeks. But right now, she's got a big job on her hand. It's Marta Garcia leading then. It's now 4 tenths of a second. So it has been coming down lap after lap. And it's one of those circuits, again, if they do start battling around maybe Sector 1 or Sector 2, they will hemorrhage time. Caitlin Wood, just keep an eye on Caitlin Wood. See that gap. See if it comes down. See if these two do indeed go side by side. How clever are they going to be? It's all about using your racing IQ around a circuit like this. You know, you've obviously got to think about yourself and your own position, but you've also got to think about the race and how that's going to affect your race over the long term. It's always about getting across that line as fast as you possibly can. But as it stands, Marta Garcia is doing a stellar job in a defensive field, which we know she's got abundance of talent when it comes to defence. We've seen it week in, week out. All of a sudden, over the last couple of weeks, she really has, for the lack of a better term, hit that throttle pedal and just got a little bit faster. Grabbed a couple of extra tenths a lap, and she really is, I would say right now, pound for pound, probably the quickest driver on the circuit, or in the Esports League. But it is indeed still Visser that leads the Esports League. So, of course, we can't counter out as it stands, but these two are the strongest as they come then up towards Spoon Curve for what would be, I guess, lap number 5. But it is still Marta Garcia leading. Again, Caitlin Wood, is she going to be able to close that gap, though? She'll be hoping that these two indeed battle. Visser, I think, is just trying to keep Marta at an arm's length, and maybe, again, like you said, Billy, Sector 1 and Sector 2 is all about just keeping yourself within that slipstream range and then sort of utilising Sector 3 and, of course, that big, long start-finish straight.
Yeah, she looks like she's in a much better position this lap as well. The gap's coming down. You can see Marta there sort of weaving across the track just to sort of avoid Visser getting a real good slipstream. But she looks like she's got that. She's going into the last chicane. Is she going to go around the outside, or are we going to see a switch back? I think Visser, knowing her, she's going to try and get that exit, and that's a really good exit. And for me, Marta Garcia is going to have to do an amazing job to fend this off into turn 1 now.
Cool. Was that a little bit of excitement in your voice there, Billy? I'm sure we just saw an excitable Billy there. I love it. Absolutely love it. They do indeed come across the start-finish line to start lap number 6 here. And this has just about got her nose up in front here. And we know how good Marta Garcia is on the brakes. Pins that apex there beautifully. And she still holds on to the lead. But looking behind, Caitlin Wood will be looking at this. She's just about 3.8 seconds behind. And she'll be hoping that these two, with the last sort of 4 minutes, 30 seconds to go here, I think we're going to have 3 more laps remaining of this race. She'll be hoping that these two just continue to go side by side and lose each other a lot of time. Actually, she's gained 4 tenths through that first sector already here. So keep an eye. I'm telling you, keep an eye on Caitlin Wood. I think this race could come into her hands over the next 3 laps. But it is still Marta Garcia and Visser. Again, you've just got to be so careful with Visser, because she can dive you at any point and hit the apex, Billy. We've seen it before.
And we see Marta Garcia actually run a little bit wide. Oh wait,
it wasn't Marta Garcia. It wasn't. Yeah. It was Rodest. We're on board with Pepper and Rodest here. But you're right.
It was. They're so close. I thought it was that battle. You can just see how close the battles are throughout the grid here. So this is our Rodest and Pepper here. So Pepper is a very similar position to what we saw from Visser and Garcia. She's just trying to stay in range through that first sector to allow her to close up when they get the slipstream of Sector 2 and into Sector 3. Yeah, so at the minute the gap's about 7 tenths, so she probably needs to close that down to about 4 tenths at the end of this sector to really look like she can challenge.
I'm not blaming you for that, Billy. I'm blaming the camera guy. He's just too fast for us today. Unbelievable stuff, though. But there are battles all over the circuit. Just that amplifies that view there. But look at this. Bajtska Visser in that slipstream once again, down towards 130R. 2 laps remaining. I tell you what, she's found herself the tiniest of little gaps here. No way around the outside. No way around the outside. Yes way around the outside. And Bajtska Visser, unbelievable move here. Move of the Esports Series for sure. Takes the lead on Marta Garcia. That's incredible stuff.
I think we've seen a little bit of excitement for you there, mate.
Well played, Billy. Well played. But what a move that was there. 130R. It's just not a possibility, is it? That's incredible stuff. But I tell you what, Marta Garcia is not done here at all. She's trying to find a gap up the inside. Almost a bit of contact there. Bajtska Visser definitely would have felt the front wing there nearly go underneath the car of herself, from Marta Garcia. And I tell you what, this race is not over yet.
That was some incredible driving. 130R, one of the fastest corners, high commitment. Especially in these cars, just about flat out. So the fact that she got that slipstream, we've seen it over the last 3 laps. Visser, that was really showed me her racing sort of ability and her knowledge as well. The last 3 laps, she's been getting closer and closer at that point of the circuit, trying outside sort of overtakes to get the switch back on that situation. She just went straight around the outside with that pace advantage from the slipstream, and a great overtake.
We're seeing this between these two drivers week in, week out. I want more of this. I want this every single week. But again, look at that gap to 3rd position. 2.7 seconds now. It has come down. And well, I tell you what, it's all about keeping within striking distance, of course, through the first 2 sectors. Such a technical circuit is Suzuka. And well, Marta Garcia is just about in striking range then. Just got to get through Spoon Curve. Again, a double apex corner. Kind of a native corner around these parts of the world as we come then up towards Spoon. Just a bit of curve there, grabbed by Visser. Visser, looked like the rear was stepping out of us slightly, scrubbed a little bit of speed. But again, not too much of a worry so far. But Marta Garcia then is now the Bajtska Visser of last lap. So she's in behind Bajtska Visser. And well, there's no way she's going to try and go around the outside like Visser did, is there? I don't think she's quite close enough here. She's actually going to have a little nibble up the inside. 130R it is. And we know that Visser could go around the outside, no problem whatsoever. But now Marta Garcia takes the lead of the race. Down towards that final chicane. She covers off Visser's attempt then round the outside. And wow, this is incredible action here. We're on to the final lap of the race. And Billy, it is anyone's race win right now.
These girls and these young drivers in general, they're executing such good racing sort of manoeuvres. We've seen inside, outside. 130R is renowned for being one of the trickiest corners of any track in the world, and we're seeing these girls go side by side. It's such great action to watch, and there's so much respect there as well. It's so easy to just get a little bit careless, leave not enough room, and there be contact, and that be their race over. But like you said, over the last few weeks, we've seen this week in, week out of the girls really sort of getting to grips with this world of sim racing, and this is just as good racing as you'd see in the real world. So for me, it's really great to watch.
You are not wrong at all there. 130R, you can't overtake round there. Bajtska Visser, Marta Garcia. Hold my beer, hold my champagne, hold my gin. They've both made an overtake there. Incredible stuff. We've still got one more lap to go here. Is it going to be Marta Garcia or is it going to be Bajtska Visser that takes the victory here then as they come through the Degners? And wow, this is up towards Kobayashi then for the final time. I'll tell you what, I have got my head in my hands right now because I'm expecting fireworks on these final couple of corners here. And there's a bit of a mistake there by Marta Garcia. Pressure starting to tell, but I'll tell you what, got a very fiery exit there, to be fair. So recovered nicely. But Bajtska Visser knows that she can make an overtake either up the inside, round the outside. She'd probably be able to teleport away through the car at this stage. She's got that many skills in their skill set. Up towards Spoon Curve it is then, and through the first part here. Marta Garcia has just got enough of a gap here, I think, to be okay as they come in towards Spoon. So what about your exit speed here? And yeah, warded off the pressure quite nicely. Again, for me, this has been battle of the Esports League series so far. And well, is it over? We've got, again, this is the final lap here. We've got ourselves 3 corners to go. Through 130R, Marta Garcia has indeed warded off the pressure. Remember Spa, though. Bajtska Visser loves a little dive up the inside. Is she going to have a go? She's going to have to go round the long way here. It's all about your exit speed then. And I tell you what, she's got an absolute flyer through the first part then of the chicane. She is closing here. Round the final corner here then at Suzuka. And will it be Marta Garcia? Will it be Bajtska Visser that takes the victory? They're going to come across the line. There's a drag race here. Who's going to take it? It's going to be Marta Garcia. Oh, I don't know. I have no idea, Billy. Who's got the win? It is Marta Garcia by 300ths of a second. It's Bajtska Visser in second, and it is Wood in third. Take a breath, ladies and gentlemen. That was absolutely sensational. Billy, talk us through that final lap.
I mean, we saw Visser hunting down Marta Garcia over his last few laps, experimenting with the inside and the outside. And I thought when she got into the lead that she was going to be able to control it. But obviously that slipstream effect, we saw it come into play up that straight through 130R. So many overtakes there at a corner where you wouldn't normally see that. But that just shows the level of commitment these girls have and the skill level as well. That was unbelievable. And Marta Garcia there, the last lap, so controlled. Like you said, I think the key crucial part of that last lap for her was getting the exit out of the hairpin there. She really opened that gap up just enough to sort of ward off the threat from Visser. And in terms of racecraft, her defensive abilities, I think Marta Garcia, she really fought for that one. I'd love to see it.
It's just, yeah, do you know what I'm really excited about is how excited you are, Billy. We're both excitable messes in the commentary box. Incredible race. On the podium, we've got first, second and third. Hand them both the first trophy. That was amazing stuff there. But we need a break, so let's head over to Lee, who's with one of our drivers.
Yeah, thanks, Luke. It's not just one driver who I've managed to find. It's 2 drivers and 2 who put up such a battle in race 1. Marta, congratulations. You must be delighted, not just with the win, but also the quality of racing.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a great racing with Bajtska, so yeah, I'm pretty happy with it.
Bajtska, that was an incredible move. 130R around the outside. I don't think you see many people, if any people, doing that.
Yeah, I got alongside her there, so yeah, I just kept my foot stuck in and made it around there.
In terms of the respect that you two have for each other, that must make these moves easier because you maybe couldn't do that with everybody who was on your inside. Does it actually matter who you're racing against, Bajtska?
I think if I was alongside anyone there, I would keep my foot down, so that wouldn't make any difference.
And Marta, what about you? Because I know there is a level of respect. You both know how good you are when it comes to racing on track, and it seems to be the same in sims as well.
Well, I think it's the same that Bajtska said. I mean, if someone was there, you obviously would do the same because in the end you're racing. So yeah, that's it.
Ladies, thank you so much for the moment. 2 more races to go, so I hope you both have a good night. Thank you.
Here we are then, ladies and gentlemen. Race number 2. I have just about recovered here. And, well, it is Belen Garcia and Tomaselli on the front row of the grid, which means they didn't have a great race. But the saving grace is they do start at the front here. And, well, I tell you what, it's a very, very good start then from both of them. And in actual all fairness, there's a big bit of carnage there between 2 drivers. Oh, dear. There's a car driving straight across the circuit there. And that is very unfortunate there. I think that might have been Hawkins, unfortunately, then. But at the front end, it is Belen Garcia that gets away nicely. Tomaselli in second. Koyama in third. Then Grisham, new driver for this week, is in 4th position. Tasman Pepper is in 5th spot. Then we've got Piria, Eaton, Agron, Jilkova is then ahead of Sidorkova. Eaton's made a move then on Piria. Oh, and actually, no, Piria and Eaton are going side by side through the S's. So that's, again, we said we can't make overtakes through there. We just saw 2 crazy old action here, almost 3 wide in the background. We're on board then with Abby Eaton. Oh, dear. That is a big mistake there by Vicky Piria, and she's pirouetted through the S's there. That's not ideal, and I think I said that joke last week. I'm going to stop saying that. Very poor. Through the Degners then we go, and it's Eaton, and up to P6 under all sorts of pressure then from Jilkova. Jilkova will indeed want to try and get this position as soon as possible. In front of them, though, there's all sorts of action going on. We've got Pepper, Grisham, and Koyama. Koyama then the cork in the bottle as it stands then, as they come up towards Kobayashi. And has she held on to 3rd position? Yes, just about. Pepper then has moved up a position here. Grisham has just dropped down from 4th. She was in 5th, then 4th, then 5th again. It's all going down here at Suzuka. You love to see it, but where are Marta Garcia and Visser? They're 10th and 12th position right now. Visser in 10th, Marta Garcia is in 12th position. Sidorkova then up to 8th spot then as it stands. But again, another poor race one, unfortunately, for the Russian. But as we head then towards 130R for the first time, and well, it looks like Grisham may have just made an error there. She's dropping right down the order as it stands. But it's Belen Garcia that leads. Tomaselli 1.2 seconds behind. So she's doing what Tasman Pepper did a few weeks ago, just getting off and driving away as Belen Garcia and just trying to get out that slipstream range. Tasman Pepper then in behind Koyama, and Koyama, oh dear, not ideal then in a home race. Has just spun out at 130 out. So easy to do. Indeed, you completely lose load of the car around 130 out, and you've just got to keep the input into the car. And unfortunately, I think she might have just coasted there. I think Billy would be able to talk you through that a little bit better than I can.
And what I've just spotted as well is Visser, who was having a great first lap. She's now down right at the back of the field. So I think she's been caught up in that carnage through 130R, which would be very disappointing for her.
Yeah, 3 wide, by the way, battling for 3rd position by the looks of things. Pepper, Jilkova, and Agron. No, it's not. It's for P4. Or no, it's not. Sorry, it's for P6. I think we've got Eaton, Marta Garcia then coming through the pack here as well. We're on board then with Abby Eaton. Eaton then in behind Agron. So Agron leads this little pack here. Eaton in behind, Marta and then Marta Garcia. And then in behind them is Caitlin Wood again. So Caitlin Wood is doing a very good job of getting a podium last time out. She is coming through the pack here as well. And like I said, that is a big issue then for Visser, who looks like she's out of the race then, probably taking a fast repair. And well, around a circuit such as this, if you lose a lap, you're very unlikely to catch up to the rest of the pack unless other people have a bit of carnage then. Through the Degners, you can see that Agron is doing a very good job then of holding the rest of the field at bay as it stands then. And Eaton there very much using the exit of that circuit to her best ability, and actually has put herself under a little bit of pressure then from Marty. Marty then with a move up the inside then through Kobayashi, and I think she may indeed have that done there. Eaton there nearly with a little bit of contact as they come through the right-hander up towards Spoon Curve then for the 2nd time of this race. And they do go side by side. Eaton then has got the outside line. And I think Marty's going to have a little nibble up the inside again here. You can see that Marta Garcia also wants to get this done. And Eaton, I tell you what, is just driven straight across there in a great defensive move. Had the perfect line to work with, but I tell you what, it's messed up her exit here, and why you do not want to mess up your exit onto a back straight. And you see the Agron trying to break the slipstream. She's not going to worry about those other 4 cars because they're worried about each other right now.
Yeah, and I think Marta Garcia here could be in a bit of trouble from behind because she seems to be getting boxed in as we see the car in front of her. Marty already gone to the outside. And I'm not too sure where Caitlin Wood is, but she's going to be putting a lot of pressure into Marta Garcia here. So this battle is just crazy. I mean, the action and how close these girls are running to each other on a circuit where it normally doesn't favour following closely, like we said before about the sort of losing the front downforce. We're just showing that these girls, they're committed, they're fighting for every position. Doesn't matter if it's when race 1, the reverse grid race. This action is really good to see.
Yeah, it's just good, respectful driving, which is what we love to see. And actually, Marta Garcia then again in behind this battle here. We saw, oh dear, there's an oversteer spin. That's not good. And Marta Garcia needs to be aware of those issues. This has already been caught up with such things there. And actually, it's a fellow Spaniard, Marty, then that makes the mistake there, unfortunately. No one else around there to blame other than herself. And it's just so easy to do. Get on the power too early in these cars, you completely lose every sense of feel with the car and you just can't recover it. through the S's we come then. And well, Marta Garcia, I don't know, obviously she wants to be a little bit further ahead here, but now she's got a couple of laps to gather her thoughts and really hit those lap times. But I tell you what, we might be looking at another race victor here, ladies and gentlemen. Belen Garcia leads the way. It's 4.4 seconds. So even if Tomaselli catches up to Belen Garcia, it still would be a new race winner. So it's going to be between the Spaniard and indeed the Brazilian. And it's been all about the Spaniards here. Marta Garcia winning race number 1. And well, the other Garcia, Belen, is looking to take her first victory here. What a drive so far.
Yeah, it's been a great drive. She managed to race very well. I think the fact that we haven't been talking about her just shows what sort of league she's been in. She's not had anyone near her on track. She's been in a league of her own in this race. Really controlled drive. And the thing I wanted to highlight from that incident we saw earlier in the lap with Marta Garcia was just clearly, oh, hello, we got to change of position here for P2, I think.
Yeah.
Suzuka might be moving. Oh, they're side by side into 130R. Let's see if these two could manage to pull that one off.
Oh, there's no way we can see another around the outside at 130R, is there? No, we don't. There we go. So Jilkova, indeed, using her iRacing expertise there, just squeezed on the exit. Actually, Tomaselli lost out there to Pepper as well. And you see that quite often, leaning on your experience within either, whether it be the actual formula you're driving, drivers who've had a couple of seasons under their belt, or indeed within sim racing. And you see that Jilkova is, huge within iRacing, and she's just squeezed Tomaselli there right before the entrance of 130R, enough for then Tomaselli to really have to get off the gas and unfortunately lose out to Pepper.
Yeah, she just gave her not much room on it. She gave her enough room, but not a lot to play with. And I mean, that corner in general is really committed on the entry. So when you've got no room to play with, being committed from the outside and trusting that the person on the inside of you is going to turn in as well makes things a lot more difficult. And I think we just saw her there just make the decision to back off. Probably a bit too late, which is why she lost the momentum and then lost her further position to Pepper. And Agrin actually now has got past her as well, so that must have been down this main straight into turn 1. So Tomaselli falling a few positions within a space of a few corners there. So not a great lap from her there.
Yeah, you're right. It was down towards turn number 1. Agrin making a move on Tomaselli. Had the slipstream there side by side for the most part of that straight, but indeed a nice move there made by our Norwegian driver Agrin. Big mistake there in front. I'm not too sure. Well, that's one of the back. It must be one of the back markers. But Marta Garcia now. You can see that the cars in front are a little bit more dispersed. I say they're a little bit more dispersed. No, they're not. They're closing up again now. And she would have been hoping that, they were a little bit further away from each other so she could, sort of fight them one by one. But at this point in time, she's going to have to fight them all at the same time. Actually, Caitlin Woods made a big mistake here now. There's 3 drivers here vying for what would be, I believe, P6. So can Marta Garcia indeed pick them apart here? She does. She makes one move then around the inside. Abby Eaton then has got a job done as well with Tomaselli. So Marta Garcia's got to try and overtake all 3 of these cars in quick succession. And this is where the incident's going to happen. Again, the reverse grid. Oh dear, Marta Garcia is going to put herself on the outside here of 130R. It's almost going to be 3 wide here. And there we go. She's being very clever there. That is called racing IQ. And she just backs off ever so slightly, lets the other 2 crack on. And can she make a late move then up the inside? We're on board with Abby Eaton. She's all good here. And defensive move there by Tomaselli. And well, actually, Marta Garcia now being boxed in. As you said, Billy, she's been boxed in a few times. Now under pressure here from Caitlin Wood. And we know Wood's got the pace to be running at the front here. So that's not one of the drivers that Marta will want behind her.
Yeah, she has got the benefit of the slipstream on Tomaselli. I think we see her now pulled to the outside. Around the outside at turn 1, you've got to be so committed on the entry. Let's see how quick she turns in here. Very nice, very nice. You could see commitment. She gave the space on the inside. And actually, with it being sort of a double apex first corner, she managed to get it back to the inside for the exit of turn 1. And she's got a good gap now, so she can now focus on Abby Eaton in front of her.
Yeah, how it's changed for Tomaselli. Once in second position in this race, now with 6 minutes to go, finds herself down in P7, and actually with Caitlin Wood right up and behind her. And again, Caitlin Wood just following Marta Garcia through the pack here. It's not going to be enough points really to close the championship lead up hugely, but Marta Garcia, she can gain another couple of spots, maybe get a podium. There's a huge opportunity here, although Visser, by the way, is already back into the points here. She's in the top 15, but again, not going to make too much of a difference, 15th, 14th, 13th, 12th. If Garcia can go and get a podium here, and what she's got to work with, she's actually only got 3 seconds to work with in terms of Eaton and Agrin. So she could get those drivers with the next 5.5 minutes. We're on board then with Agrin, and this is going to help Garcia as well. She might want to maybe push towards a podium. If Agrin can close up then to Pepper, and these 2 start fighting, there's every opportunity. Silakova, by the way, down in P12. So as it stands then, our Esports League standings is, of course, Visser that led coming into this round. It was almost an unassailable lead, even if she didn't finish in each of these races here at Suzuka. But today say, she's not going to score huge points in race 2. She only came second in race number 1, only second. But it was Garcia that indeed got the race victory. So Sidorkova has had a bad race 1 and a bad race 2. So Marta Garcia, I think by the end of this race, may be second in the standings, which will be absolutely huge. Over the last few weeks, she's just came up from around about 6th in the championship. So she wasn't looking like one of the ultra-strong drivers. And all of a sudden, she's looking like the strongest.
Yeah, she's been consistent. She's developed in the area she needed to. I've seen a lot of times in this race alone that sort of the option to go for an aggressive manoeuvre was there, but it would have probably cost her in some cases her actual track position, because there's been a lot of incidents that she's done well to avoid. We're going to see her now attempt the same turn 1 manoeuvre, but yeah, not quite as committed on the entry. Saw Abby Eaton there sending a lot of speed in. And that's the thing there with turn 1. If the person on the inside really attacks the entry, no matter if you're on the outside or not, it's very difficult to judge the line, and sort of with it being a double apex corner, eventually you've got to get back down to the apex, which makes things tricky.
Yeah, you don't want to put yourself on the outside of a car there that's really committed, because they're not really in control of where they position their car on the exit. That, you know, they're aiming for the white line ultimately on the exit of the corner. If there's a car on the outside, you're both going to get cleaned out and it is game over. So again, we've seen that a couple of times over the last couple of weeks, where Marta Garcia in the second race has really started to grow within the sim racing. She's using her, again, racing IQ, not getting involved in every single battle as soon as she possibly can, and just picking her battles. Again, it might, on the aggregate of point score, be a negative. I tell you what, Neri Amati coming back through here on Tomaselli, and very audacious move there. Maybe a bit of contact on the exit. I think Tomaselli might have every reason to be a little bit annoyed with that one.
Yeah, I mean, that was an aggressive move from Marty. Tomaselli did well to avoid there being contact. She had to turn out of the corner, which is obviously not ideal. We see Marta Garcia here coming through Spoon Curve, right on the back of Abby Eaton here. And with the moves we've seen her pull off in the first race at 130R, I'm pretty sure she'll manage to get the job done here.
Oh, it's like a Hollywood film, isn't it? 130R, we've had the first film, we've had the sequel, and now we're here for the third installment. 130R, Marta Garcia around the outside of Abby Eaton, and Abby Eaton does not leave the room. Well, she does leave the room here. Can Marta Garcia go late on the brakes then? I tell you what, this is a great defensive display from Abby Eaton. Superb driving from Abby Eaton. And while she's showing that she has got a little bit of glimpses that she can hang with the front drivers in this W Series Esports League. And wow, this is now going to be the second time they go side-by-side drag racing down in towards the first corner then. 2 laps remain of this race. And again, it's maybe not been crazy as race number 1, but I tell you what, it's just been as exciting through the first part of turn 1 and then into the second. I guess it's officially 2 corners, but I like to see this as 1 corner with 2 apexes. Through the S's, they go once again then. Belen Garcia, by the way, maybe not going to have it all her own way. It's only 2.5 seconds now, Billy. And Jilkova, the Czech driver, really looking to pile that pressure on. But this is the battle we want to be watching right now. This is for a top 5. And, well, P4's not far ahead here. So Marta Garcia got to use every ounce of her ability to try and gain as many points as possible, because I'll tell you what, there's one driver that is going through the pack, and that is Baitska Vissa. She's overtaken Kiyama and Piria now, although she's now 10 seconds behind Sidorkova, and Sidorkova is not going to be any easy opportunity to overtake, that's for sure. It's all on Marta Garcia as it stands, and well, what we're looking at here, Billy, P6 currently, 2 drivers in front, 1.5 laps to go. We're talking about Marta Garcia going forward, but I tell you what, there's a wall in front of her right now, and that's Abby Eaton. She's not letting anything happen right now.
Yeah, I mean, Marta Garcia here, it's all about getting past Abby Eaton and not losing time in the process. I think if she manages to get the job done at 130R, at corner where she'll be flat out and she won't be lifting when making the pass or compromising her line, that'd be ideal, really, because then she could kind of keep that momentum going through and won't lose any time to Tasman Pepper. The clock is running down though, so for me, she needs to get this move done now. And what we're seeing here from the onboard shot is Abby Eaton is actually sort of closing up to the back of another car, so she's not actually losing that much in a straight line as she would if she didn't have anyone in front.
Oh, contact between the 2 drivers there. Abby not leaving any room here, but actually Garcia's got a pretty good exit late on the brakes then, down towards that final chicane. And well, opportunity knocks, and she opens the door. Good stuff there then for Marta Garcia, and that was a very difficult move there. Eaton did not give an inch there, that's for sure. She had to indeed utilise the runoff area of AstroTurf, which is not where you want to position your car, especially an open wheel car. But she's made the move, she's in P5, and now 1 whole lap here to try and gain P4. Tasman Pepper is up next. The lead is only 1.8 seconds as well, so there's a lead battle going on. It's going to be interesting whether Belen Garcia can indeed hold on to that. So we come through the S's though. Marta Garcia, not really an opportunity to make an overtake here unless indeed your fellow driver makes a mistake through here. And Pepper, well, she's been pretty strong throughout this esports series so far, and I'm not expecting her to make a mistake through Sector 1, that is for certain. But as we then come up towards Sector 2, through the Degners, there might be an opportunity then up in towards Kobayashi. So we'll see what is indeed going to happen here. And you see actually Marta Garcia is super close then. Again, the two Degners coming up. And is there a little bit of a gap there around the outside? I tell you what, she is shaping for the move, and wow, she gets it done as well. Abby Eaton may be able to follow through as well. Pepper loses out one, and well, only is one position. And Marta Garcia has gone from taking her time, being nice and placid, to attack mode 100%.
And that's exactly what we needed to see from her on these last couple of laps. I wasn't sure whether she'd managed to get the job done for her top 4, but that overtake, she got such a good exit out of the first sector. She followed, I saw the difference in the line between her following as she was taking slightly sort of tighter lines and cutting back more to get the exits, not probably rolling as much speed through the middle of the corner as we saw from Pepper, who was in front with the better front downforce. And that, for me, that just shows you the qualities of how sim racing is replicated in real life, because that's exactly the sort of lines and sort of changes in position that you'd want to see in real life.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Superb stuff from all drivers in this mid-pack field. It's been a really good race too. Let's check out the lead though, and it has closed down then, but it is Belen Garcia. And by my math, I believe we're about to see our 6th different winner here in the W Series Esports League. And well, Belen Garcia will finally, she showed those flashes of brilliance, but she will finally cross the line and take the victory here in Suzuka. Superb stuff there. And well, I tell you what, it was, again, maybe not as crazy as race number 1, but wow, the quality on show there in race number 2 was absolutely sensational. And well, we've got a new race winner, Billy. It's Belen Garcia.
Yeah, we have indeed. She did a great job there. I mean, the fact we didn't have to talk much about her until the last couple of laps where Julkova sort of started to close the gap down a little bit. But I think for me, she just controlled the race so well. A great drive from her.
Well, what a great night if your surname is Garcia. I think that Luke Crane is going to change his surname by deed poll to Garcia, because no one is more excited, apart from the Garcias, than Luke Crane. My goodness, have you got your breath back?
Just about. I tell you what, though, I am going to need a couple of glasses of water here because I'm shedding water through sweat. This is so exciting. It's so warm. I don't know. I've got no words. It's crazy.
Okay, look, I'm going to speak to Billy. No offense. We'll come back to you. Billy, you talked about it in race 1. That move, first of all, from Visser and then Garcia, the fact that they were going wheel to wheel, 130R, these big corners, the level of respect is great to see. The level of driving and intelligence is even more pleasing.
Yeah, I mean, the quality of the driving, like you say, the respect given between to be inches apart through a flat-out corner as famous as 130R, where you don't normally see overtaking. I mean, these young drivers, they're adapting on the spot. They're overtaking people where you really think they wouldn't be able to. Practice makes perfect, and the practice that they've put in is really proving dividends right now.
Yeah, look, it was a great first race for Visser to go wheel to wheel. She'll be so frustrated to get caught up in that melee in the second race. But Marta Garcia is doing what Visser has been doing and putting herself in the position to maximise those points.
Yeah, we've seen a really calculated drive in race number 2 again from Marta Garcia. We saw her at Watkins Glen last week on the back straight before the bus stop chicane, where she had an opportunity to make a double overtake, but just backed off and didn't want to get involved in any shenanigans. And she did it again today 3 or 4 times and just waited for a proper opportunity. And with Abby Eaton, like, you saw her go around the outside of 130R. You saw Visser do it to Marta, and Marta giving the room. Abby Eaton did not leave any room. So it was at the point where she had to really take some chances. She took some chances. She still got that move done. But ultimately, she's just being very calculated, doesn't want to get involved in too many issues. And ultimately, we saw Visser, the opposite. She actually did get involved in it, which that's race 2. We've seen that week in, week out.
Well, 2 fascinating races. Let's see what it means for the championship standings. And I'm hugely interested to see, well, in fact, there we can. 315 for Visser, so there's still a decent gap. But Marta Garcia has moved up into second position, albeit by just 1 point from Marina Sidorkova. Caitlin Wood still in 4th there. Tasman Pepper 5th. Nerea Marti, another good night for her so far. And there you can see down to 10th. So we have a real battle on our hands, Billy. Marta Garcia will be sniffing out that top position, won't she?
Yeah, I mean, the fact she's now got second in the championship, with the amount of points she's racking up. I mean, the last 2 weekends, she has been on top form. She's got the most points. The start of this race weekend here in Suzuka, if you want to call it that, the first 2 races, she has gained a serious amount of points. She's kept it clean. She's kept it consistent as well, which is what we've sort of lacked and didn't see from her early in the season. And she's got to maintain this form, and if not, try and eke out a podium in race 2 every week now to the end of the season if she wants to close that gap to Visser, because the gap is still there, but it is closing, and Visser will be aware of that. And with the level of competition we've got, it won't be too hard to see some other drivers being thrown into that mix as well. So Marta really needs to extract everything she can from the remaining races that we've got.
Yeah, you're right. Billy's bang on there. It's not like Formula One where we have one race a week, or well, at the moment it's one race a week, but one race every weekend. We've got 3 races for the next 3 rounds. There's 10 races in total still left to go here. I think it's on. I genuinely think that there is a championship run between 2 drivers now. It's exciting times.
It is hugely exciting times, and we have 1 race left for you from Suzuka. We said that Suzuka was exciting, and it certainly has been so far. And one driver who is lucky enough to call Suzuka her local track is Miki Koyama. Now, last year, Miki commuted from Japan to Europe to compete on track in W Series. Well, this year, she's having to sit up in her simulator deep into the night because of the time difference, but you would expect nothing less from Japan's #1 driver.
For one driver, this could be the toughest test of all.
At the very start, you can speak for 60 seconds, so 1 minute. For the interview?
I can't understand.
Okay.
あんまり英語は得意じゃないので、ドライビング日本で日本一なので世界でもトップに立つために、受けたいと思いました。I started kart racing when I was 5 years old, but as I got older, there was no money, so I did negotiation with teams and sponsors all by myself. 50人以上の参加者がいたので、目指すというその時の自分のモチベーションはやっぱり今までないぐらい緊張感にあふれた中で I have dream to become an F1 driver, a dream I kept even if people made fun about. I will prove to you that you have made the right choice. Racing is my life. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed.
You. Massive respect.
Yeah.
If she's quick, then we've got a kind of reverse superstar.
Yeah. Well, I'm so pleased to say that Miki is here now. Miki, I know you would prefer to be racing on a track and not in a sim. How much are you missing W Series in Europe?
I miss so much, so I can't explain how much it is.
The difference in time has not been helpful to you. I know it's in the middle of the night. I mean, some people in Japan will be getting up. You've not even gone to bed yet. I know you're very sleepy. How do you plan your day? How do you organize your day when you are racing at 3 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah. At first, I plan to spend around in British time, but I have my work in Japan, so it was difficult. As the sim starts at 1 a.m., I slept from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. and then began to prepare for the race. But I felt myself half asleep because the sleeping was incomplete. So now I wake up late on this day. I have coffee 3 hours earlier than the race start, so that I don't feel asleep. Yeah.
Oh, Miki, thank you so much. Arigato. It's great to have you with us, and we do appreciate it. So thank you for staying awake.
Yeah, thank you too.
Well, 2 hugely exciting races down, 1 hopefully to go, but let's turn our attention to commentary for our final race with Luke and Billy.
Thank you, Lee. It is race number 3 of round 7 of the W Series Esports League. And while if race 1 and 2 are anything to go by, we are in for an absolute treat here at Suzuka. It has been one of the most fast-paced, exhilarating experiences of my commentary career, I'm not going to lie. And of course, I am still joined by the legend, that is Billy Munger. How you doing, bud?
Well, after those 2 races, I've just caught my breath, and I'm looking forward to the 3rd one now.
Yeah, to see excited Billy is always good. That means the racing's been very, very good indeed. And well, already we are seeing that Marta Garcia is 100th of a second faster than Visser in qualification. And we're on board with Silikova, who's lost 2nd position in the standings. And well, a point to prove here.
Yeah, she has. I mean, that lap there put her P4. You can see how close it is as well. The top 5 with Jilkova doing a great job, being only 2 and a bit tenths away from Marta Garcia, who currently leads by 100th. I mean, that just shows you the depth of the field, how tightly sort of condensed they are now. I mean, around a long circuit like this, it's nearly, like I say, nearly a 2-minute lap time as well. This is almost the length of Spa, probably the longest track other than Spa for these young drivers. And the fact it's so close after such a long lap, I mean, it's just quite unbelievable, really.
Yeah, it is. And well, as we watch Visser, I knew that was going to happen. Visser then comes in and posts the 59.0. We saw a couple of 58s in practice before, indeed, we started this broadcast. So we haven't quite seen that in the race. And I'm wondering whether that's nerves, because they've become a lot closer in terms of time, Billy, and they know exactly what a lap time means in terms of where they are on the grid. Again, you know, obviously, it's obvious you need to be at the front end, but it's become more and more key to victory moving forward here.
I think these sort of shootout style qualifying sessions with not a lot of time on the clock, only by the time you get out the pits and warm the tyres up, you've probably got sort of 2 flying laps really to make the most of the tyre. There's definitely a lot of pressure on the drivers to deliver in such a short space of time, while obviously in the practice sessions and stuff like that, where we see the slightly quicker lap times, they've had time to build everything up nice and gently and sort of adapt and change lines accordingly to how they get on. Or in this, it's straight in at the deep end, 2-3 laps, go out there, do a lap time, and I think it's quite normal to see them sort of miss a couple of attempts, make a couple of errors, only small errors, but still errors on their laps. And at the minute, Visser seems to be the more consistent of getting closer to her practice pace. And Marta Garcia here on a lap, it looks like a fairly good lap so far. We've not seen any real mistakes from her. Visser's still the quickest driver really for me on the field when it comes to 1 lap pace, and certainly delivering it in qualifying sessions. I think she still has the edge, but that's not no one's going to count Marta Garcia out when it comes to the racing.
No, exactly that. Marta Garcia, we've seen 3 times now this season, starting from 2nd on the grid, with Visser being a pole, managing to get the jump into turn number 1. So again, it'll be a bonus if she goes pole position, but she knows that if she is 2nd position, she has the tools in her arsenal to indeed produce that lightning start, get up into the lead, and well, potentially put us in for an absolute cracker here. This is the final attempt then, with 1 minute 50 seconds left. And well, it is Marta Garcia we are on board with. And actually, Visser has just gone a little bit quicker again. So a 59.028, just shy of 3/10 quicker than Marta Garcia. And did Garcia manage to improve on her time? I'm not too sure she did. She's still going to start 2nd at the very, the very best, actually. Wood then in 3rd again. So we're having the same 3 at the front end here. Tasmin Pepper will be in P4. Caitlin Wood then has indeed stopped the car there. We've then got Silikova, who will start in P5. Jilkova in P6. And well, it is the front 2. And actually, Marta Garcia did improve then. She's 1/10 of a second off of the pace. But it is indeed Bajtska Visser once again who is on pole position. But Marta Garcia, who seems to have rockets off that start, Billy, she's in 2nd, and she will be looking to get another victory here today for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely not a disappointing result from her. I think she probably is getting a little bit frustrated that when it comes down to that 1 lap sort of quality performance, she still is just lacking that little bit to Visser. It means that she has to nail them starts, which she has been doing, but obviously starting on pole would make that job a little bit easier.
Here we are then, race 3, the final race here of Suzuka. I am an excitable, sweaty mess. And we are about to go green then here for the final race of today. And well, there we go. Here we go, down towards turn number 1. And while already Visser trying to cover off then the potential move of Marta Garcia. She knows that Garcia gets lightning starts here. And you see then the Silikova, very similarly to race number 1. Oh, Silikova's lost it. No. So it's not similar there at all. It's already come undone then for Silikova, who was P3 all on her own there. Again, we saw that in qualifying. where she just kept losing load on the car, and the car was just indeed skating across it like it was an ice pond. And there we go. It's loss of, well, down to the back of the grid order here. P18 now for Suzuka. And, well, Marta Garcia then with a huge opportunity then to make P2 in this Esports League standings all her own.
Yeah, I mean, that, for me, this has been sort of summing up Suzuka this weekend here in Suzuka. It's a tricky track, and we've just didn't seen too many mistakes from her. I mean, making mistakes like that on the first corner of the race, where you just need to settle into your position, don't try anything silly, just keep it on the circuit. I mean, we've seen that maturity from her in other races, but it just seems like here at Suzuka we've just not seen that.
She's 17. We can let her off, that's for sure. And it's stuff that she can learn from as well. Like, if you don't make mistakes, you can't learn. That's a fact of life. But yeah, we're on board there with Marta Garcia. Maybe a little cheeky move here. No, not quite. Oh no, there's a mistake there from Marta. And actually, it probably would have been more beneficial for her to try and make a move up the inside there. Just completely lost the rear of the car. Slides across, scrub speed off as well. And also the tyres may be overheating here, but she is in P2, and well, it looks like we may get a round 2 here of the Bites Marta Garcia show here at Suzuka. But in third position is Tasmin Pepper. Marty's in 4th. Agron then is in 5th. She managed to make it to the grid, which is fantastic news. Koyama then in a home GP. P6 then in this third feature race. And well, can she get a positive result then for all of the home fans? But as it stands then, it is between Bites and Marta Garcia as they come around the final corner on lap number 1. And well, Garcia just got a bit of a poor exit there, but the slipstream will indeed get her out of jail here for sure as they come down along the start-finish straight. And well, will Marta be able to make a move? This has made it very obvious that if you're going to come and make a move on me, it's around the outside, and Marta Garcia not going to be able to. And there you go, Billy. You're talking about if you're on the inside and you're committed, there's no chance of someone making a move, and Bites just proved you completely right.
Yeah, Marta Garcia at this stage of the race though looks like she's got really good pace. She really seems to have come out of the blocks firing here. I mean, that mistake that we saw up at Spoon Cove, it looked like she generally got caught out by how early Visser was on the brakes. And like you say, probably if she'd gone to the inside, I reckon she maybe would have made that move stick and it would have been better off her. But the fact that she's been able to sort of hold range to Visser, who has the fastest lap in both the first 2 races, so let's not deny the fact that she is quick. But Marta Garcia here, her racecraft, it seems like she just brings her A game when it comes to the racing, and she did that in qualifying. I wouldn't be surprised if she was getting more pole positions than she already has done.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Professional racing driver Billy Munger just agreed with me on a technical part of my commentary. So that means I do know what I'm on about every now and again. But you're right, you know, qualifying is great. But ultimately, this is where you earn the big points in the race. This is where you've got to indeed, get yourself in check for that 8-9 lap race that we will have here at Suzuka, and that's where you earn your dough. In P3 then is Tasmin Pepper. Neri and Marty then we're on board with just in behind. So there's a very similar battle here for the final step on the podium. And although we've seen Garcia and Visser go side by side a few times, they've not really lost any time to P3 and P4. They're definitely the outright quickest 2 drivers on the circuit. I'll tell you what, Pepper under a real load of pressure here from Neri and Marty. And Marty would like to potentially make it 3 different Spaniards winning here at Suzuka. There's an opportunity here, and she's got to be hoping that the front 2 do indeed start battling properly. I'll tell you what, that's a hell of a move, mind. A little bit of contact there with a bit of a block pass on the exit, but it's a legitimate move, perfect move actually. And Neri and Marty was making a way forward. And actually, we did see that Marta Garcia and Visser went side by side as well. But ultimately, these would have lost time in P3 and P4. Down in towards then turn number 1 once again. And well, Visser indeed trying to defend here. Marta Garcia, just trying to sneak a little opportunity at the inside through the second phase then of turn 1. Again, it is a 1 turn for me. Through the S's, then we go. And well, it looks like Garcia's just lost a little bit of time there. So going defensive for Visser, but she's still really quick through the first sector.
Yeah, Marta Garcia having a sneaky look up the inside in the second sort of part of that first corner. It is 1 corner really, where the line sort of dictates you. It's 1 steering movement. You don't really like to steer in and steer out there. Normally when you're doing stuff like that, it means you're not rolling enough speed through the corner. So it's good to see that these girls are really making it into 1 corner, really attacking the entry that they need to be in order to get the lap time. And you can see the front 2 already pulling a gap out, 2 and a bit seconds. That move, Marty's actually dropped back behind Pepper, I've noticed as well. So
turn
Pepper
1.
maybe, and the entry to turn 1 got that move back. But it was a great pass from Marty into that chicane round the outside. I mean, that just shows you again the level and the depth of the overtaking abilities of these drivers. It's really good to watch.
Yeah, watching Koyama here trying to defend then against Hawkins as they come up towards her fellow compatriot Kobayashi corner. Say Kobayashi then. Kobayashi corner, and she holds on to P6. And I've got no favourites here, Billy. But come on, Kiyama, you can do it. Get this big result today in Japan. I'd love to see it. The fans would love to see it. But she seems like she's got some serious pace here. And I tell you what, wow, Marta Garcia is going to take a page out of the old hymn sheet of This Is Written as they come down towards the old final chicane. And well, it is a move around the outside of 130R again. And I'm just coming out with random words right now because I don't know what's going on. This is really good stuff. And Marta Garcia leads again.
She's taking a page out of Visser's book there, getting the move done around
the
outside.
Thank you. Sorry, Billy.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that so many moves have happened in these races at 130R is so surprising. Look, Visser's, look at that entry speed. Oh, she's just not, again, it's the two-part corner that really pays favour to whoever's on the inside. The fact that Visser there drove so aggressively on the entry and really committed herself to going around the outside of Marta Garcia. It would have been a great move, but Marta Garcia, wow, she is really delivering when it comes to where the main points are scored.
They are taking pages from each other's hymn books that they've each other written at this point. I can't believe I just said that. And that is definitely two quotes in one. But as we stand, Marta Garcia is in P1. Visser's still in P2. Billy, thank you for digging me out there, mate. That was brilliant. Because this is just such crazy stuff. I don't know what's going on. Through the Deglers they come once again here on lap number 3. And it is a race lead then for Garcia. 0.3 of a second then at play. Pepper in 3rd spot and Marty in 4th. And again, I just don't, even with these two going side by side every single lap, I just don't think they've quite got the outright pacing behind here to really challenge for the race victory. So I think we're going to see a proper duke out here between these two here. With 12 minutes to go, an extra 5 minutes. And we've seen that those extra 5 minutes have been absolutely vital in these races in terms of tyre temperatures.
Yeah, there's tyre degradation. It's an extra challenge for the drivers. 5 more minutes is also the concentration element of being a driver that comes into play. The fact that they've used to the sort of the 15-minute distances, but they'll be looking up at the clock after they've done that with 5 minutes still to go. And when you've got a battle that's so close like this, it's going to take your concentration to be on point the whole 20 minutes. And Marta Garcia, it just seems like when she gets in front, she's got more experience than Visser. So far, I say that, and then Visser goes around the outside. Oh my God, are they going to touch? She's so close.
Oh, that was so close there. I thought Visser had got it, but I tell you what, she is going to have another bite on this cherry, that's for sure. No slipstream to work with, though, because indeed she wasn't right behind Marta Garcia, so they're going to drag race, and now Visser decides to get the slipstream. I think that might get Marta Garcia out of jail here. Down and towards turn number 1 again, and Marta holds on, but runs a little bit wide, not quite left the door wide open. And you're talking about concentration, Billy. I'm not even in the car, and I can't get words out right now. So how these two drivers are performing at this level is beyond me.
It's really great driving to see. We've seen actually on the last couple of overtakes that we've seen at the front, Pepper and Marty are starting to close that gap a bit as well. And I mean, if this turned into a 4-way, or even a 5-way fight for the lead, I don't know how we would be managing to get words out then.
I'm not opposed to it. I'm not going to lie. I am not opposed to that. I'm excited for that. But we're on board now with Naomi Schiff. By the way, there are still battles happening everywhere on this circuit, by the way. It looks like Hawkins may have actually overtaken Koyama as well. Belen Garcia, race winner from, indeed, race number 2. One of my family members now, the Garcia clan. That is from me changing my name, as Lee said. But yeah, Naomi Schiff then in P10, trying to make the move on Tomaselli. Tomaselli had a bit of an indifferent week this week for sure. Indeed making a few driver errors, but I tell you what, she's doing a good job here. Goes defensive very early there, makes it very, very obvious, but actually he's going to run out a little bit wide, too quick, too hot into that corner. And well, an opportunity there for Naomi Schiff. Always nearly contact between the two drivers there. And well, that could have ended in tears. It didn't. We're still going strong here then, up towards the spoon now. What dear, oh dear, they got too close, and yeah, that's not the best thing I've ever seen, Billy, that's for sure.
Yeah, it looked like sort of Naomi Schiff there was at one point committed to the inside through the kink, then next thing you know, that door closed and she decided that the outside was the way to go, but you've got to be able to judge the distance to your front wing, and it just looked there was a little bit of lack of concentration. She didn't quite judge it right, and that's not how you want to see battles unfold, unfortunately.
No, that is for sure. And we've seen that Marta Garcia and Visser had that little battle on the previous lap. And I'm wondering, because Visser's dropped right back here, whether that little bit of contact we saw at the final chicane, whether she's got some front wing damage. And actually, yes, you can see it there on the front left of her wing, or the front right from her perspective. There's a little bend up So I think she's struggling here. Yeah, there definitely is their damage, Billy. So that is going to affect her around a circuit such as this. And now put her into the clutches of Pepper, Marty, potentially, maybe Agrin, Hawkins as well. Because again, we're going to see now from my earlier statement how downforce dependent a circuit such as Suzuka is. And she's just losing so much time to our race leader. So Marta Garcia has been given a bit of a carte blanche at this point to go out and win this race.
Yeah, I mean, the gap is at 2.2 seconds already. On a lap time that's nearly 2 minutes long. Front wing damages, especially at a high-speed circuit with a lot of fast-flowing corners. And it's all about the sequence of the corners as well, because if you struggle with understeer through the first part of the first sector, you're going to be offline and then struggle even further as you get further around that sector through the left-right. There's so many of them in that first sector. It is a real challenge for the driver when everything is on point, when the car's handling right. And when you've got understeer, and she probably hasn't done many laps with damage on the car, I would have suspected. If she has it in practice, I imagine she would have reset the car and sort of gone out again. Obviously, she's practicing for quali and race where you obviously prepare for best scenario where you don't have any damage, and this is going to be a test for her.
Now we're going to see Bicycle Vista's defensive credentials put to the test here. Tasman Pepper, of course, a race winner previously in the W Series Esports League. And I tell you what, it's almost going to be a gimme here, up towards 130R. And is she going to be clear here? I'm not too sure. I tell you what, Vista is going to fight for this position. But again, with that damage, how much can she fight? Again, Pepper's going to go around the outside, uses a bit of AstroTurf there for the safety element of the move. And, well, there it is. Position 2 then for Tasman Pepper. And Pepper starting to come good again. We thought that after a race victory a couple of weeks ago, that last week was going to be the time where she could really assert herself into the top picture in terms of the Esports League standings. And, well, it's taken to race 3 today, but she's there. She's in P2 right now. And, well, I think Vissa's not going to be able to hang with her at this point. It's all about whether Vissa can indeed hold on to the position 3 and whether Marty can get up ahead of her.
Yeah, I mean, Vissa would be hoping this would have been one of the 15-minute races rather than the 20-minute feature race. Even 5 minutes even longer than she would have had before with the front wing damage. You can see, to be fair, they're behind Marty. If she loses that position, there's a 3.2 second gap to Agrin. So she has got a bit of time to play with, but it does seem like it is costing her a lot of lap time at the minute.
Yeah, it's been huge as well. And it's not just, you know, the lap time, it's the ability to defend, having that confidence within the car. You know, we've seen her able to go side by side with Marta Garcia around 130. We've seen an overtake from her round there. We've seen potential overtakes into turn 1 where they've been side by side. So, you know, having the confidence in the car with no damage to then having, you know, just a slight doubt in your mind against a track where you've got to be committed at every turn to really maximize the time. You know, that's got to be huge here. We're on board then with, again, race winner from race number 2, Belen Garcia, trying to make her way up into P7. And very, very close there indeed. She's up and behind Koyama. Koyama, though, doing a pretty good job here. Pretty solid top 10 as it stands. P7. Can she get this P7, though?
Yeah, I mean, she is doing a good job so far. I mean, we've seen her struggle a little bit in this Esports League so far. She hasn't had many standout results. And the fact this is her home race, she's probably put maybe a bit more pressure on herself, maybe committed a bit more time to get on top of things. She probably knows the track as well from her experience of either driving around there or just being in the facility of the likes of Suzuka, obviously living and coming from Japan herself. I mean, at the minute, she's positioned her car well. She looks fairly in control of the position, but Belen Garcia winning race 2, she will be confident of maybe making a pass here.
So I really, really want to see a result from Koyama, just for her. She's put in so much time. Oh, a bit of contact there between her and Garcia. I tell you what, elbows out. And, well, not giving up that position easily. But she is obviously, when all of these drivers practice, she's up at like 3 o'clock in the morning to do this, just for the races and practice sessions and all that. So the commitment shown is huge. So it'd be great to see her get a result. But I tell you what, she's potentially going to lose P7 here. And Belen Garcia, of course, full of confidence right now, now moves up into P7. And now she wants to try and make her way a little bit further forward. But I tell you what, Koyama is not going to let her get away. Up through the S as we go then. And, again, these two separated by around about a tenth of a second. You can see then that Garcia just able to stretch her legs a little bit here as they come then out of the S's before they come up towards the Degners. With 5 minutes to go here, I think it's going to be a pretty comfortable P8 with 5 seconds behind to Naomi Schiff, and then Grisham is in P10. But she'll want to try and get one more position. But we're on board now with Neria Marti. She's in behind Vissa. So Vissa, again, of course, lost out to Pepper a couple of laps ago. And it looks like we've lost Agrin then from this battle. So Agrin's just dropped down. She dropped by 3.9 seconds behind, so she dropped a little bit further down, Billy. But again, Marty not able to indeed get past Vissa. So Vissa showing some resilience here.
Yeah, I think what we find with a circuit like Suzuka, where we've seen the slipstream is quite important to sort of making overtake stick. I think what you've got for Visser now, which she needs to be able to hang on to, I think if she loses the gap to Pepper, which it actually looks like she's just dropped out of that window now, getting a toe, and this is where we might see her come under a bit of pressure from Marty. I think that's just been sort of dragging her along and keeping her in the mix here, being in the slipstream, which obviously she wasn't getting when Marta Garcia sort of started to drop her by a couple of seconds. And I think, to be honest, it's looking like that she may just be out of range of the toe. And Marty trying around the outside, a bit of contact on the entry there. This is going to compromise both their exits, but the crucial thing for Visser, she is out of the slipstream now to Pepper. So Pepper, it looks like, is going to get a bit of a break, not have to look in her mirrors, and this might change the race for Visser now.
Yeah, Pepper's going to be the one smiling with this, looking in her rearview mirror. But I tell you what, Visser then tries to break the toe here around the outside, and Marty will have no idea that Visser's got damage to the car. She may kind of figure that out as the race goes, but she won't be able to see the front of that car, so she will have no idea. And who's that there? That is, I believe, Sidorkova that is being lapped there. And while we saw the mistake on lap number 1, we didn't look like she'd had any contact with anybody. But unfortunately, it seems like she's now going to finish down in P18, so not a good day for her. And well, this is only going to give bigger an opportunity here for Marta Garcia, who's currently leading her second race of the day. That chance to really extend her lead in second position in this championship.
Yeah, she's been on great form. I mean, she hasn't had either of the pole positions for race 1 or 3, but she's looking like she's going to pick up 2 wins, so she's collecting points there, and 4th in the reverse grid race as well. So this is a huge points haul for her.
Well, maybe fastest lap as well. We don't know that, but with Visser, who we know just gets fastest laps by just turning up, it seems, every single week. She's that fast. But she's got damage this time, so maybe an opportunity then for an extra bonus point as well. But I tell you what, look at this battle still happening right now. Then Visser going as defensive as possible. Well, actually, no, Marty's got ahead here. So Marty on the podium then, as it stands, and Visser, she kind of really doesn't have the tools to work with to get back up to P3. I'd be very surprised. It was kind of a I defend P3 or that's it kind of deal here, but you never know. Bicycle Visser does Bicycle Visser things. We're living in a Bicycle Visser world at this point. That's how good she's been. But again, she is, to be fair, she is closing in. So that slipstream is huge, even with damage. Can she go late on the brakes here? Again, it's all about having a confidence in the car, and I don't think she's quite got that right now.
Although she has got a great exit there from the last chicane. We saw Marty, when she turned in there, she obviously saw Visser in the mirrors, maybe made a slight error, ran a bit wide. And I think for me, if Visser doesn't get the move done here, with the amount of sort of damage she has, if Marty can nail that first sector, it might be game over for her hopes of a podium.
Neria Marty there, very late on the defence there. I think Visser was trying to find some sort of gap there on a pit exit, which indeed does run out very quickly in terms of the grass showing up. So I don't think that move was ever really on. And then she had to pull out wide. And, well, Marty showing that experience now. Showing, she's been here for, this is her 7th week, of course, racing every single week. And she'll want that podium. She's fight right to the death with that podium right now. 0.4 of a second separates the two again. Marta Garcia leading the way here. We've got one more lap remaining, I believe. Might be tight here. This might be the final lap. I don't know. It's going to be very, very close as to whether this is the final lap. Pepper then is 3.6 seconds behind. Marty then is in 3rd spot. Visser in 4th. Agron 5th. Hawkins is in 6th. Then Ben Garcia, who has had a race victory, 6th winner of the series so far. So that's 6 winners in 7 rounds. I think that's pretty damn good going. I still believe there's going to be 8 or 9. So hopefully one of those 2 numbers comes in for my sweepstake. That'd be great. Koyama now is in P8. And actually, Belen Garcia has just made a move on Hawkins by the looks of things. We've got 35 seconds remaining here. So I believe this is going to be the final lap of the race then. So we are on board with Marta Garcia. It's been such a good day for her, Billy. And, well, it looks like she's going to crown off the day with another race victory.
Yeah, I mean, what's impressed me the most of her is that she hasn't been on pole. The first race, she got the start exactly how she wanted to, but we saw Visser come back at her, and it wasn't as simple as Visser getting into the lead and then leaving her, and that was it. It actually looked like Marta's been the more dangerous of the two, I'd say, when they've been battling wheel to wheel. It looks like she is a bit more comfortable with the sort of close nature of the fight, and we've seen between them today, and she's definitely come out on top in that front, because she's now looking at 2 wins, and I think, is that her crossing the line now? She's weaving up the straight.
Yeah, she's done. She's a win. Race winner. Race 3 then here at Suzuka in the W Series Esports League is going to go to Marta Garcia. And it was at the start of this series, It was like saying Visser, week in, week out, race in, race out. And now it's a bit more like that with Garcia. And well, with the damage, unfortunately, it was not going to be second place for Visser either. So it looks like Pepper is going to finish in second position, and then Marty will finish in third. But it is Marta Garcia. And I tell you, honestly, it's on, Billy. I know the gap's pretty big between the front two, but with 9 races to go, again, it's not one race every week, 9 races to go. I think Marta Garcia's got a shot here.
Well, we've seen over the last few weeks, she's had the most points over the last 2 weekends. This week, first, a fourth from start. Remember, she's starting 19th. There were a lot of competitors out there today. She did a great job of managing all the gaps, making the move stick, playing it sensible. And then again, in that race there, the early stages of it, when Visser was in the lead, she just looked so dangerous. She looked like she just came out of the blocks firing. She has been on form this weekend here in Suzuka.
Well, what a cracking 3 races we've had tonight from Suzuka, and this is how it translates to the points leaderboard. Beitske Visser still very much in command, 328 points, but just 49 points behind now is Marta Garcia, who started the night in third and has moved up to second place. Arina Sidorkova is now 22 points behind the Spaniard in third. Not a great night for her. Caitlin Wood is in fourth, Tasman Pepper fifth, Nerea Marti, another good showing from another Spanish driver in sixth, Ela Agrin. Belen Garcia, who got her first win of the W Series Esports League, is in eighth, and Alice Powell tumbles back a little bit after being unable to race this evening. Jess Hawkins, though, still in the top 10. And there we can also take a look at the other drivers in the W Series Esports League. But my goodness, guys, what an incredible night of racing we've had. It's always a danger when you start a programme almost overselling how good Suzuka can be. But look, it certainly did deliver its promise, didn't it?
Yeah, like sometimes your job's just very easy as a commentator, and today was one of those days. You know, the content is just there right in front of you to witness. Obviously, it doesn't make my job easier because I just barely come out with words today. It was just so frantic. I had my own Murray Walker moment today where I just struggled. Thankfully, Billy was able to dig me out of the mess there. But yeah, just really thankful for the level of the drivers we're at today, the respect levels. It was just a really good day. I'm just really happy, Lee, to be honest.
Well, I'm happy you're happy. Billy, are you happy with what you've seen tonight?
I mean, I'm quite blown away, to be honest. I think at the start of this league, we were seeing accidents on a regular basis, sort of a lack of experience probably from the young drivers. On display today was some of the best racing, and particularly in the sim world as well. Some of the best sim racing that I've seen for a long time. I mean, 130R, that is like a historic corner. It's got such prowess. I mean, it's so dangerous. It's high speed. And we're seeing people go too wide through there, ran the outside, inside, into the last chicane as well. I mean, I've seen a lot of overtakes today that I would expect to see maybe at the top level in F1, sort of Lewis Hamilton maybe diving around the outside there. And the fact you're seeing that from these young drivers today, it was edge of the seat stuff. And I'm just glad that I wasn't on the outside and making it a 3-wide battle or something like that, because it could have ended in tears, but it didn't.
No, it certainly gave us an awful lot to smile about, and we still have 3 cracking racetracks still to come. Next week, we go down under. We're off to Mount Panorama Circuit, or Bathurst, as some of you might know it. Then we've got the Nürburgring Nordschleife, and finally, we've got Silverstone Circuit. But look, what can we expect from Mount Panorama?
Anything and everything. I'm going to leave it as simple as that. It's personally one of my absolute favourite places in the world of motorsport. I feel like I said it every week, actually. Anything and everything. So it is as simple as that.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for tonight. Your excitement levels have been off the charts. We've had so much to enjoy. We have got 3 rounds, 9 races to go. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.